Infusión para llevar.
Yes, baby! MiniClip.
The best dance community in the future, how it should be.
I'm thinking of my perfect dance community in the future.
Yeah. I think you can imagination cap on. You can have your imagination over.
So I think first, and this is a recurring theme in my dance and my theories about dance, is that we should be more focused on the internal pleasure that dance brings rather than the external appearance of dance for performance purposes. I'm not saying that technique is not important by any means. I am not saying that performance is the devil by any means. However, I think when the dance community starts to focus on like social media and likes and comments and going viral and being famous and fitting into society's norm of what beautiful influencers should look like, it damages dance as a healing art form. And so I think the average person that comes into dance is not doing it to be famous, and they're not doing it to be a professional, and they don't have these goals of performing and teaching and traveling until they see that is the priority of a lot of other people, and it like influences their brain, and then everyone has this mentality that like, if I don't go viral, my dance is not important. And that bothers me, honestly. Like, I don't want to be an old lady, but I really feel like the TikTok and Instagram trend of like just pushing out 50 seconds of the most impressive thing you've ever seen, it is not what dance is about for me at all. And I feel like when I try to I think part of it is also that like I don't necessarily think of myself as an influencer. I always think it's a little bizarre when people ask for my opinion or tell me that I have had a huge influence on them in dance. Like I feel like I'm on my own little journey of like, I like to explore dance as much as possible. I like the way it makes me feel, and so I just keep doing it. I'm like plugging away, not really, I don't necessarily have a goal. I don't have a goal except to learn and to experience as much as possible. And when I teach, I feel like I try to bring that energy to class. The point isn't to be perfect at this thing. The point is to enjoy it and to allow some downtime from the stress of life. Like dance is therapeutic, dance is healing, dance is like my Zen space, and I want other people to be able to feel that. So if we as a community could prioritize that a little bit more, I would be super happy. I think second, that it's really important to focus on more equity work and fighting discrimination within each of our dance communities. The dance community is a microcosm for the entire world. And so it shouldn't be surprising that the things we see in everyday life of sexism and just discrimination based on race and sexuality and gender and ableism, finds its way into the dance community as well. It shouldn't surprise me, but it does disappoint me. I feel like a lot of dances are created because of discrimination, and that these dances are art forms for the purpose of like freedom for the oppressed. It's to create a safe space for people who don't feel safe in other communities. And a lot of dances are like that. Hip hop for the oppression of Black people, and Vogue and whacking for the oppression of gay minorities, and like Debki for the oppression of Arabic people. Like, all of these dance forms are built out of oppression. So to see oppression seeping into these dance forms, coming in from a majority who is now the influencers in a scene, in a community that they don't belong to, feels weird to me. And I come into all of these dances as a visitor myself. I am not from these communities. And so I do feel a responsibility to learn about the history, to learn where they came from and why, and to respect the community of people who built it and who continue to foster it, as opposed to raising teachers who are from outside of that community above the people that are from the community. So I think more focus on, I think this is connected to my third thing, which is more representation from the people whose culture it is, these dances. So more raising of recognition for dancers from the Middle East, from North Africa, like the whole MENAT region, bringing those dancers into focus if what you're doing is called belly dance. If what you're doing is not called belly dance, then don't call it belly dance and do something else. If you literally are doing fusion, call it fusion, drop the name belly dance, drop the name MENAT, don't call it something that you're not doing. You know, if you're not going to represent the dance, don't use the name.
Yes.
This is also part of it. And listening to those people from the culture when they tell you that things you are doing are disrupting or damaging or disrespecting the culture. That's also a key point. And then I think outside, this is just for everyone in the community, but being more warm and welcoming. I feel like I see a lot of drama that is unnecessary. And
That's not true, Serena. That's not true.
Funny. Maybe these things don't happen in Mexico. Maybe this is just my experience.
Yes.
Across the board, I think that sometimes when people end up in a position where they're relying on the dance monetarily, that they end up in a scarcity mindset where if the money isn't coming to them, then it's going somewhere else and they're in danger of losing their profitability. And it's going to happen. This is economics, and I'm not going to go math nerd, I swear. But
you can.
I think, like, I think we have like a hippie contingent in the US that's like, there's enough for everyone and there's money for all and every teacher can open a studio, and that's not true either. Okay? Like, if everyone that's a student becomes a teacher, you don't have enough students to have a community.
Yes.
So there's a balancing act that needs to come here. But I think part of it is recognizing whether or not you are called to teach, whether or not you have respect for the art of teaching, or whether you are just trying to make money because you think that this is easier and more fun than a desk job. I think you really have to love educating people to be a teacher, and you really have to be good at recognizing when things are your ego talking and be able to let those things go, because your purpose as a teacher is not to build you, it's to build your students.
Yes.
And like, if your students can't grow with you anymore, you need to send them somewhere else. And if they're trying to grow in a different direction, you can allow that to happen. Allow them to go to other teachers. Allow them to go see other events. This doesn't say anything about you as a teacher if they decide to go in a different direction. Every person has a different goal in life. And I feel like there's a lot of ego in the dance scene, not just in belly dance, but like the Latin dance scene and the hip hop scene and the Western dance scene. Like, there are teachers across the board that are like, you can't go to another dance studio. You can't perform with another group. I don't want you going to that workshop. I don't want you supporting this other social. Like, it's just, I think it's damaging to the community to draw lines where they don't need to be, to allow people to cross over and experience other things.
Yeah.
So my perfect dance scene is inclusive and warm and fostering of beginners, and respectful of culture while also not stagnating in growth, and focused on the pleasure and healing power of dance as a movement art.
Great.
Now make it happen.